The grand fighting tournament final fight is starting, and the winner will be declared the strongest man in the world and gain fame and glory. Peter Grill happens to be one of the finalists, and wanting to impress Luvelia Sanctus, he manages to win, making him the first human to win in the last 150 years. After winning, Peter heads towards Luvelia, but Mimi Alpacas, from the same guild as him, approaches him. She congratulates him and asks for a favor. Being in a good mood, Peter is willing to listen but gets shocked when he hears she wants babies from him. A man like me would have gotten naked right then and there. Mimi explains that, as an ogre, producing strong offspring is a big deal and a champion like him is perfect for a breeding partner. He immediately declines, but Mimi doesn't give up. Lisa Alpacas, Mimi's older sister, shows up and states that she will be the one that will have his baby, and explains that many nations and races will try to get his sweet child liquids, but she is the only one who deserves it. Unable to reason with them, he tricks them into looking away, and uses the moment to run. He heads into a church, where Luvelia is waiting. She explains that her father had given them his blessing and they can marry and later have children. Peter asks her to remind him how children are made, and she explains that when two people love each other, a stork carries their child. Peter finds her super innocent and blames the Guildmaster for being overprotective and brainwashing her. That evening, after taking a shower, Peter finds Mimi covering herself only with a towel under his sheets, but throws her out. As he returns to bed, he then finds Lisa also in a towel and throws her out too. They start knocking on the door, wanting to get back in, and as they create enough noise, other people start to come out of their rooms. Peter lets them in to not cause any more problems. They explain they are aware of Luvelia, but also know they have only held hands. Peter wants to remain faithful to Luvelia, but as the girls remove their towels, and Lisa forces him to touch her water balloons, and he loses control. In the morning, he wakes up with the two girls sleeping next to him. He starts crying about what he had done, and at that moment, Luvelia knocks on his door. Hearing Luvelia is at the door, Peter panics and quickly hides the ogresses in the closet. Even though they complain, Peter then opens the door and explains he is sweaty because he was training. Luvelia comes in and tells him that she plans on telling her father about their engagement today. She asks for his support and Peter gladly accepts. When they go to ask, her father, Guildmaster Sanctus, declines. Luvelia comments that he agreed that she can marry the champion and wonders why he is declining now. Guildmaster gets angry, wanting to kill Peter right away, but Luvelia gets in his way, stating that if he doesn't agree, then she will run away with Peter. Facing the possibility of losing Luvelia, Guildmaster has no choice and accepts their engagement, but his hate for Peter only grows. As the engagement is official, they hold a celebration that night. Peter feels bad about what he did with the ogresses, and at that moment, they appear and congratulate him for his engagement, but want to repeat the baby making process. They explain that his engagement is not a problem for them as they only want a child. They tell him that they will keep this a secret if he continues making baby juices with them. He hears Luvelia coming and hides the ogresses under the table and sits in a chair. Luvelia comes and sits at the table, but then her father also appears and asks Peter to leave them, so he can sit on his chair and talk with Luvelia. As he can't get up, he refuses and explains that not giving his seat next to Luvelia is proof of his commitment to her. Guildmaster gets angry, but Luvelia stops him, and he leaves. Luvelia is impressed as no one ever stood for her like that before. At that moment, the ogresses start playing with his baby maker, exciting him, but he gets lucky when Guildmaster loses his temper and starts breaking things, so Luvelia goes to him. The girls then come out, wanting to continue. Peter disagrees, but his baby maker has a different opinion. In the morning, Peter again regrets what he had done. The next night, Peter has a nightmare involving Luvelia and her father. When he wakes up, he discovers an intruder is on top of him. Said intruder is an arrogant female elf named Vegan Eldoriel. After Peter rejects her, she places a curse on him. Meanwhile, Luvelia is captured by a monster she was hunting. Peter rescues Luvelia from the monster that captured her. Later that night, at a hot spring, Peter notices that he is still up, hours after the battle. Vegan then appears and she tells him that she placed a curse on him where he will no longer stay up unless he has a baby making session with her. Luvelia hears Peter and offers him the chance to join her. Forced to make a decision, Peter chooses to be with Vegan. This brother is lost and confused. The next day, Luvelia's father receives a message from the Great Orkland and the Southern Pork Pie Kingdom. Seeing an opportunity to get Luvelia back, he schemes to make Peter marry Piglet Pancetta, a female orc. Despite his best effort to avoid falling into the trap, Peter ends up sleeping with Piglet due to the orcs giving her an enhancer and then locking them in a bedroom together. The next morning, he attempts to get out of the situation by asking her what she truly desires. At the dinner table, Piglet lies and says that she and Peter did not do the baby-making act. She then requests to be transferred to the guild so she can remain by his side. While she is alone with Peter, Piglet reveals she desires to have his child so she can someday exact revenge against the Orkland. Peter finds himself surrounded by Mimi, Lisa, Vegan, and Piglet. Since they all want to be with him, the girls agree to have a contest to see who can get him the most excited. As they continue to fight among themselves, a drunk Tim walks in and offers everyone a drink. The girls are successfully able to get Peter's baby-making juices after they make him drink a bit. The next morning, they decide that they must agree to a set of terms in order to ensure that this situation does not happen again. The girls agree to a treaty where Peter is allowed to fulfill his rigorous duties on a daily basis. On a rest day, Peter decides to go on a date with Luvelia. Later that night, as Peter is enjoying his dinner with Luvelia, Mimi shows up. A worried Peter leaves with Mimi for their scheduled baby-making session. When he returns to his table, he sees Vegan eating with Luvelia. He then also has a baby-making session with her. This is followed by Lisa showing up. Once the date is over, Peter is concerned about the situation he finds himself in. Peter is disappointed after he was with Mimi, Vegan, and Lisa during the rest day, so he decides to run away. While he is alone, he meets an ogre who gives him some encouraging advice about love. He then reveals that he's looking for the woman he loves. When Peter asks who he is looking for, the ogre reveals he is looking for a princess named Lisa Alpacas. This revelation stuns Peter. Peter confronts Lisa, and she admits that she is indeed the crowned princess of Ogrestan. Meanwhile, the ogre Peter met, Spartokos, approaches the reception desk of the guild. There, he runs into Mimi. When Lisa attempts to get on top of Peter, Spartokos catches them in the act. A furious Spartokos then attacks Peter before Lisa orders him to stop, which he reluctantly does. Afterward, Spartokos asks Lisa to come back home. However, she reveals that she will not return home until she conceives Peter's child. Spartokos then challenges Peter to a duel for Lisa's affection. At the arena, Peter decides that he is going to throw the match against Spartokos. However, his plan is thwarted when Lisa blackmails him. Peter agrees to take on Spartokos as his apprentice after some convincing from Vegan and Piglet. During the training, Peter and Piglet notice that Michi Pellegrima, the guild receptionist, has fallen in love with Spartokos. A week later, Lisa and Spartokos' duel takes place. Peter is confident that Spartokos is now stronger than Lisa, but seeing her smile and Spartokos moving slower than usual, he realizes that Lisa is using her boobs to distract Spartokos, who can't move his eyes from them. Realizing that, Peter knows the fight is over, and moments later, Lisa defeats Spartokos with Peter commenting that his decision to remain a virgin cost him the win. Spartokos later wakes to realize he lost again, and Peter knows that if they ask for a rematch, the result would be the same. As Michi comes to visit him, Peter realizes that Spartokos needs to get used to being around women. Peter pulls Spartokos aside and tells him that Michi is known for being a connoisseur of guys with huge muscles and he would be able to win her. Peter explains that he can't beat Lisa due to being too susceptible to the charms of the opposing sex and he needs to build up experience with women. Spartokos doesn't like the idea of losing his V card to another woman other than Lisa, but he does it anyway. As Lisa leaves, Luvelia shows up, and seeing her smile, and he knows this is his path to happiness. The end. To watch more explanations of these kinds of animes, click on the videos on your screen. Kindly like the video and subscribe to my channel, and press the bell icon, so you don't miss any new videos. And at last, I will say, stay safe, stay well. Thanks for watching.